right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Raw Feed, where the truth is as harsh as the desert sun and twice as revealing. I'm Gary Franchi, and tonight we are taking you on the wildest showdown this side of the Potomac. Picture this, a dusty street in a town called the OK Corral. The clock strikes high noon. On one end, we've got Donald Trump, the maverick outsider, his red tie flapping like a bandana in the wind. On the other, Kamala Harris, the establishment's last hope, her power suit replaced by a shiny tin star. They're about to draw, folks, and the bullets are made of pure, unfiltered truth. Trump's fingers twitch over his holster, ready to fire off another indictment-defying statement. Harris nervously adjusts her grip, preparing to unload a barrage of carefully rehearsed talking points. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a two-person shootout. The whole town is involved. Google is holed up in the saloon, trying to dodge the Texas Rangers. The Democrat Party's having a mass exodus that would make the Oregon Trail look like a Sunday picnic. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gary, this sounds like the kind of show that would make the mainstream media break out in a cold sweat. Well, partner, you'd be right. Because while they're busy serving up snake water and calling it whiskey, we're here to give you the real deal. So saddle up, because we're about to take you on a wild ride through the political frontier. We'll be panning for gold nuggets of truth and streams of media manipulation, dodging the arrows of censorship and setting up camp right in the heart of controversy. Don't touch that mouse. Share the stream faster than Telegram across the wire. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, Rumble, and X to every dusty corner of this great nation. This is the Raw Feed, where we don't just report the news. We're the sheriff that brings it justice. Now, my friends, let's ride. Okay, folks, who is in the chat room and saddled up for business? We've got Gray Lee Art, Phoenix, Benjamin in the house. We've got Dave and Bob and Mangala. We've got, who else we got? We got Steven and Shore You. We got Jeremy. We got Sharon. We got Joni Jacobs in the house. We've got Action Incorporated. Action is Incorporated, excuse me. We got Papa Flip and Smurf here. Man, we've been waiting for the Papa Smurf to be coming around. We got Nunya in the house. We got Jeannie S. and Jeremy and Running Bear and Sharon. And we've even got a Rumble bot here. Everyone watching on Rumble, give us a little chat message and we'll drop you a line. We got Resto Guy. American Black Eye is in the house. Janie and, oh my goodness, everybody is here. The gang is all here and ready to ride. So, my fellow cowboys, why don't you go ahead and drop your location in the chat, your city, your state, your country, whatever you are comfortable with disclosing, because we like to get a good idea of the broad reach that this show goes out to, because we are broadcasting worldwide, and you are one of the lucky few who get to ride along with us in the chat room. We will be highlighting your messages throughout the night. We've got a lot of news to get into. Yes, Judgment Day is coming. Now let's get into our first topic of the night, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, the day of reckoning has arrived for the overlords of Silicon Valley. Google, the all-seeing eye of the internet, is about to face a Texas-sized showdown. Senator Bryan Hughes has loaded his legislative six-shooter, and he's not afraid to use it. Subpoenas are about to fly faster than a tumbleweed in a tornado. We've got the inside scoop that'll make your circuits sizzle. Now listen up, folks. While Google's trying to control your digital life, there's something else you need to control. I'm talking about your financial future. Gold prices skyrocketed past $2,400 an ounce this year, and it's no coincidence that it's happening as our national debt spirals out of control. The writing's on the wall, and it's written in 24-karat gold. That's why I need to call Global Gold Investments. That's the number on the screen, 888-700-4148, right now. And then mention Next News, and you'll get VIP treatment faster than a politician flip-flopping on Election Day. Don't let inflation eat your savings for breakfast. Secure your wealth with gold before it's too late. Now, I need to set the stage for this report, because this has been going on since May 29th, actually. May 28th, May 29th, and it all started when Senator Bryan Hughes held a committee hearing in Texas. And in that committee hearing, they voted unanimously for subpoena power to go after Google for election interference. And this very channel, the Next News Network, was mentioned in that hearing to get to the bottom of why this channel was demonetized, using this channel as a platform to understand why all these other conservative channels are getting censored and demonetized and deboosted. Zach Voorhees was the tip of the spear, bringing this channel right into that chamber under oath, revealing how they manipulate the search engine on YouTube and Google. Now, Senator Bryan Hughes, they voted unanimously. You can see it right there on your screen. This is the notice for the motion to authorize subpoenas signed by the committee. Now, we're going to get into a new article I just posted to my X account just last night. It's an article that exposes it all. We're going to get into it, okay? And it is written by Daniel Cochran of the Heritage Foundation. But I really need to set the stage because on August 12th, as you can see right here on your screen, Senator Bryan Hughes sent a document to big tech firms about potential election interference. If they don't comply, subpoenas will follow. Don't mess with Texas elections. And I'm going to explain to you why this is so important, why this specific action supersedes any other action, even from Congress at the federal level. You're going to learn exactly why this is so important. Now, this is the letter that he sent. Now, in this letter, well, heck, I'll just go ahead and I'll play it for you. This is what the letter says.
Have produced all. Dear Mr. Sundara Rajan, the Senate Committee on State Affairs has been charged with identifying threats to Texas's election integrity, including those from big tech and foreign entities. In fulfilling this charge, the committee respectfully asks that you produce the documents described in the attached document requests. Please deliver all responsive documents in searchable electronic format to the committee office at 201 East 14th Street, Room 380, Austin, Texas 78701. When providing documents to the committee, we expect you to certify that you have performed a diligent search and have produced all responsive documents. Your production is due by noon on August 30th, 2024. You are advised that by unanimous vote, the committee has authorized the undersigned to subpoena these documents from you. Your timely production of the documents in accordance with this letter will make the subpoenas moot. If you have any questions, please contact our office. We await your prompt response. Sincerely, Texas State Senator Bryan Hughes.
So,
tonight CBS News is
think
reporting
about that. Think about that for a second. August 30th was the deadline. And what's the date today? August 28th. They have just 48 hours to comply. Now, I haven't received word if they have or if they have not, but the clock is ticking as we speak. Now, here's why it's so important. Now, as you know, Mark Zuckerberg has just recently sent a letter to Congress, to the Judicial Committee. And what's interesting about his letter is that it was sent, Ryan Hartwig right here making a note of this. Interesting that Perpetual Maniac, which is Zach Voorhees, and myself, Ryan Hartwig, gave testimony to the Texas State Legislature in May with Senator Bryan Hughes, and they issued document requests to Meta, as well as Google, YouTube, and X. And it's due by August 30th. And 5 days before those are due, Zuckerberg comes out with this letter. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. But after that letter was fired off, all of a sudden, channels started to be unbanned from YouTube. As if they got the note and they said, maybe we shouldn't be censoring these guys anymore. Channels you never thought would return to YouTube have returned. And the list is going to grow. Now, we have not reapplied for monetization yet, but we plan to. And now I interviewed Daniel Cochran. Daniel Cochran is the author of this article right here. And it was published to the Blaze. With the election on the line, big tech faces a day of reckoning in the Texas probe. Thank you, Glenn. We appreciate you. Okay. Despite clear bias, Google and big tech remain free to shape political discourse and potentially shift votes this November. But a Texas investigation might finally turn the tide. Texas lawmakers have launched what may prove to be the most extensive probe of big tech election manipulation to date. While still in its early stages, the investigation could uncover further damning evidence of big tech's election interference as Americans prepare to head to the polls in November. In May, I, Daniel Cochran, testified alongside 2 Facebook and Google whistleblowers in Austin about how big tech platforms suppress and boost political content to shape public opinion and influence voter behavior, frequently discriminating against conservatives. Yes, we all know what it feels like. If Texas prevails, the resulting disclosures could prove damning for the tech giants and create a powerful incentive for them to remain neutral in the lead up to the November election. Following the testimony, the Texas Senate Committee on State Affairs voted unanimously to investigate big tech for potential election interference. Now, I had the opportunity just a few weeks ago to sit down with Daniel Cochran and get deeper into this story. And what you're about to learn is why this is so important. Why Texas has so much power that it has more power than Congress. Now, I've seen comments, people are like, oh, there's never any accountability, but this is different. And you're about to learn why. Bryan, get that video ready because I want everyone to see this. We're going to go and present this to you. Now, less than a month ago, Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook was censoring images of former President Trump after surviving the attempt on his life, but now he'll be a champion of free speech? Yeah, sure. None of this is coincidence, my friends, because the power of Texas is coming down on big tech. Bryan, let's roll it.
The biggest source of these companies' power, and that is the invisible way that they shape and structure our information environment. You know, the stuff we see online when we search out a site really on anything, everything we see and encounter and the way that we interact with it is completely controlled by a handful of large companies. Internet search, Google has controls over 90% of that market. In fact, a U.S. court here in the U.S. just found that their search is an illegal monopoly. Wow. Because of how powerful it is. In terms of social media, Google's YouTube and Meta's Facebook and Instagram, they control some of the largest digital public squares in the world. That's where information is being traded, especially around politics and elections. And I think that makes this conversation and what Texas is doing so important.
So give us a brief overview of the key points that you made in your testimony.
Yeah, so my testimony focused on essentially 3 key elements. The first element is that big tech is using a variety of methods to manipulate our information environment. And let me just lay out the 3 kind of sub-points really quick. So the first is what I'll call reactive intervention. So that's so similar to what Zach was alluding to when he talked about blacklists, right? So when Google proactively identifies a news site or a piece of content that it wants to prevent from, say, appearing in its search results or appearing in YouTube's recommender algorithms, what they can do is essentially program the names of those sites or content in. They can put it in essentially an internal tool, and those internal tools can function as filters, which means that, say, you're on YouTube, you search for a video with the term Donald Trump or border security in it, and essentially that can trigger a particular filter that Google can pre-program to hide certain information. The second kind of intervention is proactive. So that's when Google and Facebook send out what are called ephemeral experiences. So they might do this in the form of go vote reminders. They might do this in the form of a notice around a particular political candidate or campaign. They might decide to boost or prioritize particular websites. So say you search for a presidential candidate, RFK or Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Well, what Google chooses to put in the very top of the search bar really affects how you're going to perceive those candidates and what information pathways you're going to go down. It affects everything about that content, who interacts with it, and how. So that's an example of proactive intervention. And the third kind is what I'll call cooperative intervention. Now, we saw this especially with old Twitter. So before Elon Musk took over Twitter, one of the things he was doing that was enabling the censorship industrial complex was he was giving privileged API access to third-party groups who were, quote unquote, monitoring mis and disinformation. What this essentially allowed those groups to do was to go in and track the quote unquote sources of disinformation. So they could essentially figure out who's posting content they don't like, and then they could figure out who is reacting to it and how. And based on that information, they could interact with the platform and say, Twitter, we think that this person's content, because of their reach, because of, a variety of factors, it's content that's likely going to be spread. So we want you to essentially demonetize them or derank them. Or in other cases, they could say, this is a particular piece of content that we think, maybe you don't shadow ban the whole account, but maybe you prevent this piece of content from being shared. What I urged the Texas Senate committee to do was first to issue in-depth subpoenas, to major companies, Alphabet, TikTok, Meta, and X, and ask very specific pointed questions around each of those three areas of intervention that I just referenced. So specifically, proactive, cooperative, and reactive modes of manipulating elections. But they need to focus. I recommended in my testimony that they drill down on each of those and really unpack them. So obviously, the contents of the subpoena are not public, but based on the testimony and based on the fact that Texas is using its subpoena power, I think it's really they have an opportunity to open the case on some of that.
Now, this brings me to this breaking news, is that the Texas Senator Bryan Hughes has now issued formal document requests to major tech companies, Google, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. We're looking at the actual letter that he sent on the screen right now. So what is your reaction to this significant development?
Well, I think it's huge, and I want your listeners to understand that what a subpoena means, it's more than just a strongly worded letter. Subpoena means that the companies are legally liable if they do not produce the requested documents. So there is actually a procedure under Texas law whereby if, say, Google refuses to comply with the request for information, if they refuse that, there is a procedure under Texas law where the legislature can go to court and compel them to do so. And if they refuse a court order to do so, then I believe their committee, it could be at least a civil violation that might actually rise in some cases to criminal violation under Texas law. That's something that you should talk to a Texas legal expert about. But there is a legal remedy for the Texas legislature to seek these documents. And that's rare because usually what we've seen from Congress, at least in most cases, is saber rattling. Is they'll go and they'll write a letter, they'll ask some questions, but frankly, the questions are generally pretty broad. And the companies, they're able to just brush those off and give a very generic answer. This is different because it's more akin to, say, a lawsuit where you enter discovery and the court compels the parties to produce all of the actual records pertaining to the legal action, which means that the company can't just put their gloss on how they want you to perceive it. They actually have to produce the material. Texas state law, the committee that's issuing this subpoena is called the Senate Committee on State Affairs. And they essentially have very broad jurisdiction over, the topics that they cover. And as part of that investigation, compel the production of records, and they can compel testimony as well. And then to, as I explained, seek a legal sort of enforcement of those demands. So it's significant. They're not going to go quietly into the night on this one. It'll be a heck of a fight. But if they are actually compelled to comply, and they don't illegally destroy information, which they frankly were accused of doing. So wow. If we actually get our hands on the information the committee has requested, and I think in terms of its subpoena, I think what they've naturally requested, we could know a lot about what, for instance, Google's doing behind the scenes to influence elections. And that's why the states are so important. So if Congress issues a subpoena, and again, I'm not a legal expert, so I want to disclaim, that's a sort of disclaimer. But in general terms, in Congress, a committee is going to rely on the DOJ to enforce that subpoena. When it's a state, they're not relying on the federal Department of Justice, which is a good thing, given the corruption we know that is coming out of the Biden DOJ. In Texas, it's Texas state law and Texas state courts. And the companies are stuck in Texas state courts. So they can't go venue shopping. They can't go to DC to get their buddies to do them a favor. They're going to have to convince a Texas judge ultimately of their case. If the process, my understanding in Texas is the legislature would hold them in contempt, and then the legislature could essentially seek legal proceedings. And I believe that the proceedings occur in whatever county the subpoena is issued in. So I believe it's the district attorney of that county who would then enforce the subpoena. And they'd have to go before a Texas judge. The companies would have to make their case in court. And that's the kind of justice where, unfortunately, when it comes to these companies, we rarely see these days. So I think it would be a welcome change. In terms of what they produce or don't produce, look, I'm not naive. These companies are going to fight this. My point is to say that there are actual real legal consequences to them if they fail to comply. And the same is often not true of Congress, because frankly, Congress, I mean, they can send strongly worded letters, but it's hard for Congress to enforce subpoenas because of the DOJ.
Okay,
so I would say that's...
Okay. Do you understand now why this is so important? Texas has more power than Congress. Texas is about to reel in big tech into their jurisdiction, and there is no escape. They have to answer to the Texas courts. So that's why this is so big. Now, in his article, Cochran states that the committee chairman, Senator Bryan Hughes, turning up the heat on the platforms Alphabet, Meta, TikTok, and X. They have been given until August 30th to produce a host of internal documents and communications detailing how they curate, moderate, and target political content. If they refuse to comply, a state court could compel them to disclose the information. The investigation is the most extensive probe of big tech election manipulation since July of 2019, when a U.S. Senate subcommittee examined Google's ability to influence votes. Psychologist and researcher Robert Epstein testified at the time that Google alone, you ready for this, shifted at least 2.6 million votes to Hillary Clinton in 2016. The company did so through a highly personalized search results and ephemeral experiences, such as voter registration and go vote reminders. Epstein's more recent research confirms that Google likely shifted millions of additional votes during both the 2020 presidential election and the 2022 midterms using similar means. For example, Google targeted Democrat users with go vote reminders at a far higher rate than Republicans in certain areas. He concludes that absent Google's algorithmic distortion, some races would likely have turned out differently. Despite concerning evidence of bias, Google and its big tech counterparts remain unimpeded in their ability to shape political discourse and potentially shift millions of votes again this November, but Texas investigation could turn the tide. Under Texas law, the platform can be held in contempt and brought before a grand jury for action in a state court should they fail to comply with the record's request. This procedural detail matters because the subpoena gives the committee authority to obtain the company's actual documents and communications rather than rely on vague, generic responses. Moreover, since the probe is not limited to the platform's state-specific activities, its findings could have national significance. If Texas prevails, the resulting disclosures could prove damning for the tech giants and create a powerful incentive for them to remain neutral in the lead-up to the November election. Platforms could finally be forced to answer for countless decisions to shadow ban and demonetize sites and content creators for spreading so-called mis- or disinformation. A whistleblower previously exposed Alphabet's Google search and YouTube for using internal blacklists to ban and downrank political content. my channel. That's a reference directly to my channel. But the company has never been held accountable, and its censorship apparatus remains in operation. At the same time, Facebook whitelists certain high-profile users and exempts them from standard community guidelines through its X-Check program. This effectively advantages whitelisted political candidates over opponents who are not similarly exempted on the platform. Remember when Laura Loomer couldn't get any of her congressional work out onto Facebook and she was deplatformed? Think about that. X-Check functions much like a digital caste system for users, yet the company still operates with little transparency. Why do you think that Facebook Zuckerberg decided to send that letter out? Why do you think he admitted and confessed that he bent the knee to the Biden White House to censor American speech? Cochran goes on to mention TikTok being no better. Aside from its biased censorship of political content, the U.S. Justice Department slammed the platform for collecting data on the sensitive social views of its American users ahead of a contentious election year. These are just some of the manipulative practices that could finally be examined and unpacked for the world to see. And the world needs to see it. America needs to see it. Conservatives need to see it. Imagine the disclosures. When they finally come forward, imagine the disclosures about things that I said, keywords that I uttered, themes that I promoted or talked against, suddenly, finally having an answer. This channel has been demonetized for more than 20 months, and we are hanging on by a thread. We are only being supported by our donors and the few sponsors that we have. It is an active attempt to destroy this channel and our voice. And it is only through our viewers and our sponsors that we are able to keep going. And I'm telling you, it is not an easy task. I've had to sell off personal assets just to keep this thing going. So, getting to the bottom of this, understanding what ideas or themes or keywords, using this channel as a template for all the other conservative media. That's why I put a post out on my X account. And I told everybody, I tagged dozens and dozens and dozens of influencers, conservative names that you know. I tagged them all. And I said, I need you guys to step up to the plate. This needs to be on the front burner of every single American and every single conservative influencer. Go to my X account and you will see all the people. Now, the only people that have actually covered this are Lisa Haven and Roger Stone. I reached out to countless other people and nobody covered it at all. The significance on the national level is so important, and it affects every single person that I personally reached out to. And I only got 2 people to pick up the ball and run with it. So that's why I went to my X account and I posted, calling all Next News followers, I need you to become an army of truth. Retweet, tag, DM, do whatever it takes to get this on every conservative influencer's radar. Your country needs you. Let's make this impossible to ignore. And to the conservative influencers, I say your platforms are the front lines in this fight. No interviews needed. Just read, share, and sound the alarm. Your followers trust you. Use that trust to protect our elections. The next 3 days could change everything. And you could see all the people that I tagged. Laura Logan, Ivory Hecker, Jason Burmis, Turning Point USA, PragerU, Aldo Bottazzoni, Elijah Schaefer, Sav Says, Laura Loomer, Real Candace O, Ben Shapiro, Dan Bongino, Ben Burquam, Luke We Are Change, Real Daily Wire, Ed Zoll actually reposted it. One America News, Awaken with JP, Dinesh D'Souza, Prison Planet, Stephen Crowder, Cernovich, Charlie Kirk, Jesse Kelly, Scott Adams, Jack Posobiec, Red Stees, Matt Walsh, The Brandon Morse, Real Brandon Gray, Emerald Robinson. The list goes on and on and on. I reached out and I tagged every single one of these people. Now, I don't know who actually saw these posts, and that's why I need you guys to get into my X account and just start retweeting this like mad. This is not just about one election. It's about the future of free and fair elections in America. I cannot stress it enough. And that's why I put that post out, because everybody needs to know exactly what is going on. And like I said, Zuckerberg suddenly writing a letter, YouTube channel suddenly getting reactivated after years of being terminated into the digital waste bin. Dr. Robert Epstein 2 days ago, Ivanka Trump News, do you think Dems have plans to rig the 2024 election? Dr. Robert Epstein says it's already happening with regards to big tech. Less than a month ago, Zuckerberg's Facebook was censoring images of former President Trump after surviving the attempt on his life, but now he'll be a champion of free speech?
And you have to remember that less than a month ago, 29 days ago, Facebook censored that iconic photo of Trump raising his fist defiantly in the air during his assassination attempt. They labeled it as misinformation. So the train is still on the tracks and going full steam ahead. I caution people who are taking a victory lap for free speech over Zuckerberg's confession not to get too excited, because you have to understand that this is happening in the background. I'm glad to see Zuckerbucks are ostensibly off the table, but we know suppressing speech isn't. He can make all these, overtures to the Joe Rogan crowd. He can learn how to fight. He can surf with the American flag. But at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg is gonna Mark Zuckerberg, and that means doing things to help the left.
And we're not going to let that happen, folks. We are not going to let that happen, and that's why I'm calling on you. All of our viewers right now, go to my X account, find the tweets, and start retweeting, especially the ones where I have tagged all the conservative influencers. They need to be reporting on this. And if they're not, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they aren't paying attention, because it affects them too. Their speech on all the platforms that they celebrate. This is huge, my friends. All I can do is sit here, present the information, present the call to action, and hope that you heed the call. So as we watch this digital drama unfold, remember, Google might control the search bar, but we control the narrative. Senator Hughes is leading the charge, armed with the full force of Texas law. The tech giants are trembling, and for good reason. This is not just about algorithms and data. It's about the very fabric of our republic. So, my friends, stay tuned, because this is one showdown you will not find in your search results. Now take action. Whew. All right, folks. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay. You guys are looking for the actual tweet itself. Here, I will put the main tweet into the chat for you guys. So let's go to that. Okay, here it is. I'm going to post it for you. It's got tons of information that needs to get out there. I'm going to put this in the chat. There's an echo. Okay, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and post this. Posting it right now in the chat. There it is. Let's make sure it's going to work. There it is. Okay, good. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and pin that. Or Brian, can you pin that? I can't do it yet. Wait, hang on. Maybe I can. Oh, no. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and pin that to the top. That's the call to action right now. Everyone watching, get on your X account. Tap that link. I'll wait. Tap that link. Go and find the posts that have all the conservative influencers and hit that retweet. Comment, whatever you got to do so that we can get this on their radar. It's absolutely critical. All right, my friends? This is absolutely important. Okay. So what are you guys saying? All right. Haha, I got to download X, says Action is Incorporated. Go ahead, do it. Hit the like, share, and subscribe, and word of mouth. Thank you, Bully. Thank you for that. Angie, well, she's not here right now. She was in the chat. Maybe she's still watching. I know she's got the little ones. It is late. So let's see here. Okay, so there's the post. I'm going to show you the post again. There's the post. Find that post on our account and get it out there. Oh. Share, share, share. Please do. Okay. Let's get into this next story. Got a lot to get into tonight. Here we go. Yeah. Brace yourselves, America. After 39 days of radio silence, our illustrious Vice President, Kamala Harris, is finally gracing us with her presence. But wait, there is a twist. She's bringing a sidekick, Tim Walz, because apparently facing the press alone is scarier than a constitution to a Democrat. Get ready for a verbal roller coaster that'll make your head spin faster than Kamala's poll numbers. And now, while we're on the subject of spin, let's talk about something that doesn't spin. I'm talking about gold. As we watch our leaders fumble through interviews, our economy's on shaky ground, but there is a safe haven, and it's shining brighter than ever. Gold prices have surged past $2,400 an ounce this year, and it's not just a trend, it's a warning. Our national debt is ballooning faster than Kamala's list of excuses, and that's why you need to call Global Gold Investments. That's the number on the screen, 888-700-4148. Give them a call now. Mention Next News, and you'll get a free portfolio analysis that'll make you feel more secure than Kamala with a teleprompter. Don't let inflation turn your savings into monopoly money. Invest in gold. It's the only thing you can count on when our leaders can't count at all. Okay. So, the memes are hot tonight. Yes, they are. The red-headed libertarian posting this beautiful meme. Kamala is finally doing her first interview with CNN's Dana Bash, and Tim Walz will be there. We'll be interviewing as a team. Yeah. It's because Kamala can't handle the heat. She can't go head-to-head. When she goes off the rails, what's she going to do? Tim Walz is going to jump in and save her, get her back on track, interrupt. So don't think that this is some kind of concession to the media who've been begging for her to do an interview or a press conference. No. This is a carefully crafted piece of propaganda. It's going out on CNN. The father, Paul Sperry, posting this, the father of CNN's Dana Bash, who will conduct Kamala's first press interview tomorrow night, alongside her running mate, donated to Biden's erstwhile 2024 campaign. FEC records reveal Bash's parents contribute exclusively to the Democrats. Our good friend, Grand Old Memes, posting this, the first interview with Harris and Walz, and there is Walz, the emotional support puppy. Charlie Kirk asked the question, will Kamala get the questions in advance? Of course she will. That's the only way they're going to do this. Trump War Room weighing in. President Trump does no-holds-barred hour-long podcast with Theo Von, Sean Ryan, Dr. Phil, and Lex Friedman. Kamala Harris does one pre-taped interview with CNN with her VP by her side because she's incapable of speaking without a script. Who do you want sitting across from Xi Jinping as commander-in-chief? Oh, yeah, this whole thing. Oh, and she's getting roasted on CNN by some of these commentators. Listen to this. Listen to this.
Vice President, Democratic candidate. This is an extensive interview before the end of the month. That now is happening on CNN with our colleague Dana Bash, our anchor and chief political correspondent, down in Georgia. Harris and Walls are going on this bus tour starting tomorrow in Georgia. The interview will take place on Thursday. It will air as a primetime special at 9 p.m. Eastern here on CNN on Thursday. And as you noted, it is, of course, the first joint interview that the Democratic nominee and the vice presidential nominee are doing together. But it's also her first interview, the vice president, as the Democratic candidate. This is the first time she's going to take questions in a concerted effort like this, in an interview format, since Joe Biden 6 weeks ago upended this entire race by making that historic decision to bow out of his campaign, endorse his vice president, Kamala Harris, and that sent her on to these last 6 weeks here. And there are a lot of questions that have been lingering out there for her to answer as we go into this fall campaign.
Yeah. Will she answer them? She'll probably dance around them, but she's got her emotional support animal there. Kamala Harris dragged on CNN for weak sauce decision to bring Tim Walz to the first interview. Lack of confidence. Last night, CNN announced Kamala has mustered up the courage to sit for a joint interview after 39 days of hiding out from reporters. Scott Jennings, listen to this. Scott Jennings just dragged Kamala over bringing Tim Walz along for the interview. He says it's weak sauce for Kamala to bring along her running mate and soak up half the time she can't even handle an interview herself. Listen to this.
The fact is the line now going to be, well, why isn't she doing it by herself?
Yeah, I do think people are going to bring that up. Look, I have great confidence in Dana and CNN to do this.
I don't.
I think it's incredibly weak sauce to show up with your running mate. The fact that they don't have enough confidence in her to let her sit herself, the actual top of the ticket, and do a single interview. In fact, I think the hand-wringing and the gyrations over this over the last month show a troubling lack of confidence in her political ability, which also makes you wonder as a voter, well, what kind of president would you be if this kind of a small-time decision, can we do an interview or not, what does that look like for your decision-making process, so on? So, yes, I think Republicans are going to think it's pretty weak to show up with effectively someone to take up half the time.
Yep, that's what's going to happen. Taking up half of the time. Scott Jennings dragging her. And meanwhile, we got Crooked Joe just hanging out on the beach.
Kind of a back shot of the president there.
Joe Biden on vacation, not a care in the world. Just hanging out there, right there on the beach in Delaware. Yep. As the world burns around him. And J.D. Vance, listen to this.
Teleprompter, I've actually got thoughts. Ma'am, I don't need a teleprompter. I've actually got thoughts in my head, unlike Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Kamala Harris doesn't have thoughts in her head. She needs to have Tim Walz there to hold her hand. Dan Adams, Kamala Harris is a complete and utter joke. Her first sit-down interview won't be live. In 39 days, we'll have Tampon Tim sitting next to her to hold her hand and run interference when the eventual word salads rear its ugly head, and I'm supposed to vote for that? I'm not with her. Yeah. So that's what we got, folks. Oh, and then we had some cringe today. Kamala delivering some pure cringe. Listen to her speak to these high schoolers like they're toddlers.
Our country is counting on you. All of you. You are leaders. By the very fact that you all are here in this room, doing what you do at this incredible school, doing it as one big team, understanding all of the different parts that fit together to create a team. Our country.
Reporting alarming news.
Oh, man. Here's another cringe message.
And I will tell you, I was in band when I was your age.
I was in band.
So I know a little bit about, coach knows about the players, right? And all that you all are doing, it requires a whole lot of rehearsal, a whole lot of practice.
Yeah, she got a lot of practice at band camp, didn't she?
Long hours, right? Sometimes you hit the note, sometimes you don't, right? But all that practice makes for beautiful music. And that is a metaphor, that is symbolic for everything that you all will do in your lives.
Oh, thank you for that cringe moment, Kamala Harris, but the real cringe is going to happen tomorrow. Now, you know what's going to happen because this is a taped interview. It's a pre-recorded interview. So they'll be able to edit out all the pieces that make her look stupid, all the gaffes, retakes, or just watch the cuts. When you watch this interview, if you do, watch for the edits. Because I'm sure there will be quite a few. And count how many times that Walls has to jump in and save her from her nonsensical word salads. Making everyone wait 39 days, and then she brings Walls alongside. It's like she's riding a bicycle with training wheels. And Walls is teaching her how to ride a bike. That's what we got. Just add this to the list of propaganda and staged events that this entire Kamala campaign has become. So as we eagerly await this interview spectacle, let's not forget what's really at stake. This is not just about Kamala's ability to string together a coherent sentence. It's about the future of our nation. Will she rise to the occasion? Or will this be another display of verbal gymnastics that leaves us all dizzy? One thing's for sure. In the game of political theater, Kamala Harris is giving us a front row seat to a show that we never asked for. Okay, let's get into the chat. What are you guys saying? Sound off like you care. What questions do you want to see Kamala swallow? Band camp was where she auditioned for her job at blowing an instrument. Yeah. You just gotta love the uncensored news. Not tomorrow on CNN. That's not going to happen. Wake up, normies. Wake up, normies. Well, that's the gospel. She can suck the... yes, running bear. Janie chiming in. The Kamala's the most unpopular VP in history, didn't get a single vote, was installed as the Democrat nominee, and we're supposed to believe she can win? I call BS. Thank you, Janine, for weighing in. Let's see what else we got going on. What about asking Joey questions? No, you can't, Annette. You can't ask Joey any questions. He's too busy on vacation. He's going to the ice cream shop, getting 2 scoops. Getting that rocky road. Yeah. Ask her about the Afghan debacle. Well, apparently she was the last person in the room when the decision was made. So I'd say that that whole debacle, she shares the blame on that. James, he wants to know more about the Dalai Lama and why the Dems are standing behind Kamala on this reason alone. I'm not sure what the Dalai Lama has to do with this, so maybe we'll have to look that up later. And Tron Master 7821 YouTuber. We live in a satanic, demonic, upside down, backwards, bizarro world. Now it's time to flip the script back to Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. Yes, that is the true fight. And the other side is absolute evil. Demonic evil. All right, let's see what else you guys got to say before we get into the next topic. Harris was also installed just like a toilet, says Dave. Oh, man, that's a good one. Oh, my Lord. Thank you. Okay. If the election is rigged, Kamala will win. No matter how stupid she is, they don't care. Well, that's what I've been saying, that they have basically close the gap in the polls so that when they decide to report a poll, they pick a favorable poll, they bring it up on the big screen television broadcast news, and they flash it around, and they say, "Oh, yeah, look at those poll numbers, they're neck and neck." So that when the steal occurs, no one questions it. They couldn't do that before with Joe Biden. They couldn't. So that's why we cannot just sit back. We need to get out and we need to vote. Now there was a candidate came by the house, and he said to me about voting. And I said, well, Republican guy, met him before. Nice guy, explaining all the Republican seats in our county. And he said, "Did you get a mail-in ballot?" I said, "I did." So I don't plan to use it. I plan to vote on the day of the election. He said to me, "Well, I would encourage you to vote before the election in person. And when you do, bring your mail-in ballot so that you physically are there with the mail-in ballot, and they take the mail-in ballot and they cross it off so that there cannot be another mail-in ballot with my name on it. Because I have just shown them my mail-in ballot. I bring that with me on election day before the election. I told him I want to vote in person on the day of the election. He said, no. He said, vote, if you can, vote in person a couple days beforehand. I said, well, why? Why would I want to do that? I always vote on the day. I feel that's just the best method. He said, well, listen, he's like, if they're going to hack the elections, they're going to do it on election day. They're not going to do it before. Because if they do it before, there could be too many red flags, and then they could go ahead and start the whole process. It could be a big problem for them. They would get caught sooner than later. So that if any hacking is going to occur, it's going to happen on election day. So I'm sharing that with you. Nice man, came to our house, taught me something today. Taught me something I didn't know, because I thought voting in person was the way to be. But then he said, bring that mail-in ballot. So make sure if you have one and you're going to vote in person, bring your mail-in ballot. Say, here's my mail-in ballot. I'm not using it. I'd like you to destroy this. And then vote a day or two earlier. That's what he advised. Thought it was good advice. Okay. Where are we? Let's get into, this is good. This is good. Democrats are jumping ship, and even Ben Stiller. Man, this guy's, wait till you hear what he had to say today. Holy cow. All right, let's rock and roll. Hold on to your donkeys, folks, because the Democrat Party has experienced a mass exodus that would make Moses jealous. We're witnessing a political migration of biblical proportions from Hollywood elites to lifelong liberals. They're abandoning ship faster than rats from a sinking Titanic. And trust me, this vessel isn't just sinking, it's plummeting to the depths of political oblivion. Now, speaking of abandoning ship, let's talk about something that will never leave you stranded. A top-notch dash cam. While Democrats are jumping ship, smart drivers are jumping on the dash cam bandwagon, and for good reason. In this era of political U-turns and left-lane swerves, you need protection on the road. Recent reports show drivers with dash cams are 60% less likely to be found at fault in accidents. It's like having a personal witness that never blinks, even when politicians do. The easy-to-install dash cam records every detail on the road, offering collision documentation and 24/7 security. It's got 4K Ultra HD night vision, loop recording, everything you need to navigate the treacherous roads of today's political landscape. So visit carvisionx.com and get free express shipping, because in a world where loyalty shifts faster than poll numbers, you need a dash cam that's always got your back. Now, let's get into this. Here we go. So what was trending today on X is I'm not with her. We can explore that hashtag in a minute, but this is breaking the internet right now. This video is breaking the internet. Black women all over the country have joined forces to create a viral movement called I'm Not With Her, referring to their choice to abandon Kamala Harris and vote for Trump. Now, I don't believe that these people, the ones you're seeing on your screen right there, I don't believe that they were paid by the Trump campaign to start this, like Kamala Harris is paying all these influencers to start these silly dances and to create this fake viral momentum, all funded by laundered Act Blue money. No, this is real. This is organic. Because Donald Trump inspires people. He inspires hope. He inspires optimism. What does Kamala inspire? Oh, just give me some cash and I'll say whatever you want. Just like Kamala Harris does. So let's listen to this.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Woodson. Hi, my name is Silo.
I'm Karen Watson. I'm Yolanda Johnson from Georgia.
This is BB Diamond from New York City.
I'm Dana Galen, and I'm from Tampa, Florida.
I live in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Out here in Maricopa County.
Kalamazoo County, Michigan.
I am a proud African immigrant living in Florida.
I'm from the great state of New Jersey.
I'm Angelina from Philly, and this November, I am not voting for Kamala Harris.
I am not voting for Kamala Harris.
I'm not voting for Kamala Harris.
I am not with Kamala Harris.
I am not with her.
I'm not with her.
I am not with Kamala Harris.
I'm not with Kamala.
I am not for Kamala. I am for Donald Trump.
I am not with Kamala.
I am not with her because she is not with me.
I support President Trump and the economic policies our country experienced under his leadership as our 45th president.
President Trump will support our law enforcement agencies and fund them appropriately.
Donald Trump made me proud to be an American.
I'm with Donald J. Trump.
We need a leader who can make America great again.
Trump puts Americans first, and he always will.
We need Donald Trump.
I and millions of other Black Americans will cast my vote for Donald J. Trump.
I will proudly cast my vote for Donald J. Trump as our next president.
Let's make America great again.
Wow. Join the movement. Make your own video. I am not with her. Look at that. Absolutely
My name
beautiful.
is Jasmine Woodson.
Absolutely beautiful. I am not with her. Oh, I want to explore this hashtag, but I got so much more to get into here. A new video drop. Charlie Kirk just dropping this note. Okay, I want you to see this. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. just posted this just 5 hours ago. God, I'm getting so choked up here because it's like seeing this momentum, seeing these people come forward. It takes a lot. Because when you come from a long genealogy of individuals who have always voted for the Republican Party or always voted for the Democrat Party, it takes a lot to walk away. It takes a lot of courage to step aside and stand up for what is right and what you believe in. Because people will come down on you. People will attack you. People will mock you. Your family will leave you. Your friends will walk away too. These people have courage. And we need to support them. We need to welcome them with open arms. Robert F. Kennedy posted this 5 hours ago. When two great forces come together with a common goal, anything is possible.
2020 startling development in the 2024 presidential race. The son of Democratic icon Robert Kennedy suspending his independent campaign and endorsing Republican nominee Donald Trump.
But Harris is saying, oh, this is no big deal. That's not true. The numbers speak for themselves.
I think this is going to get the independents. This is going to get the libertarians. This is going to get some of the center-left guys. And even more than anything else, the timing of it was monumental. Why? Because it's a day after the DNC had their event. They're all excited. They're all ecstatic. They're all saying all the stuff that they're saying.
There is no conceivable scenario in which I would vote for Kamala Harris. I just simply will not do it. Am I open to voting for Trump? I am. I'm especially open to it if he is partnered with Bobby Kennedy, because what that tells me is that my values, which are a much closer match for Bobby's, are represented in that administration. And that's really what I want.
Make America healthy again. That is the message that Robert F. Kennedy is putting out. Now, who was that last guy? Charlie Kirk making note that this is a lifelong Democrat, very smart thinker, he says, Brett Weinstein. He lays out why we must unite to defeat Team Blue this November. A lifelong Democrat. And I believe he is interviewing with Patrick Bet-David in this moment. Let's take a look.
Certainly, priority in this election is to defeat the blue team. The Republic depends on us defeating the blue team. And all of us, Bobby Kennedy included, should do whatever it is that makes that most likely.
Suspend my campaign and to support President Trump.
And other considerations are secondary. Now, that said, I certainly hope that Donald Trump will recognize that his ascendancy to the White House is not the objective. It's what happens after he gets there. And having Bobby Kennedy on board will greatly increase the chances of doing what he has told us that he wants to do. So anyway, I didn't envision us ending up here. This does seem to be where we've ended up. Saving the Republic is vital. As I mentioned last week, we are meeting on the Capitol Mall September 29th for a rally called Rescue the Republic, Join the Resistance. You should look at the website at jointheresistance.org. Priority in this election is...
So this is huge, friends. Now, Charlie Kirk also dropping this new video asking who is Kamala Harris?
Want Kamala? Where's Kamala? Kamala Harris just headlined the Democratic National Convention, where they gushed over her for a week. And what did we learn? Almost nothing. They don't want Kamala's own supporters to know who she really is. The Media Research Center just polled registered Democrats and independents who voted for Joe Biden. 86% didn't know that Kamala Harris would consider allowing death row inmates to vote.
People who are convicted in prison, like the Boston Marathon bomber, on death row, people who are convicted of sexual assault, they should be able to vote?
I think we should have that conversation.
81% didn't know that Harris wanted to eliminate private health insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
78% didn't know that Harris promoted a fund to bail out violent BLM rioters in 2020.
They're not going to let up, and they should not.
77% had never heard that Biden's border czar, Kamala Harris, actually wants to abolish ICE.
And we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Even worse, Harris wants to open our borders even wider. 74% were completely unaware that Kamala believes it shouldn't be a crime to enter the U.S. illegally.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
73% had no idea she co-sponsored the job-killing Green New Deal.
I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal.
71% didn't know Harris supported defund the police or that she supported reparations.
We need to reimagine how we are creating safety.
They're hiding Kamala because they don't even want their own voters to hear about any of this.
Exactly.
This isn't about transparency or democracy. It's about staying in power. Former Obama official Michael McFaul admitted this. The paramount objective for Kamala Harris is to win this election. If a press conference helps her win, she should do it. If not, she shouldn't do it. It's just that simple. Translation: speaking without a script won't help Kamala Harris win. Talking to voters won't help her win. Explaining her Marxist beliefs about equality of outcome won't help her win. That's what Harris's handlers believe. Kamala Harris is a left of California radical who's been reduced to hiding from her own voters and repeating the same stump speeches over and over again, verbatim.
Oh, it is good to be back in Pennsylvania. It really is good to be back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state.
The more she hides, the more the American people can see right through her.
Turning Point PAC is responsible for the content. Wow. That was a damning damning video. Now, I'm going to retweet that so you guys can see it. You go to my X account, you can retweet it as well. So, and here's the Ben Stiller thing. This is the Ben Stiller video. I wanted you guys to see this. Tom Elliott posting this 5 hours ago. Actor Ben Stiller says he's voting for Kamala because it's time for change. This interview was recorded by Nicholas Balazzi. I think that's how you say his name. Sorry, Nick.
Good. Do you mind answering just a quick question why you came and what you like about Harris' platform?
Just very excited about moving forward and all the energy and excitement that's around this movement right now. So that's why I'm here, because it's time for change, and it seems like it's happening.
You think she'll be able to sustain the momentum post-convention?
For sure.
You think the race is going to be close?
It's going to be close, but everybody's motivated to work and make it happen. So, and she and Tim Walz are just incredible candidates. All right.
Thank you, Ben.
Okay, man. See you.
Good.
Never let it.
Just a quick question. You think she'll be able to sustain the momentum post-convention?
For sure.
You think the race is going to be close?
It's going to be close, but everybody's motivated to work and make it happen. So, and she and Tim Walz are just incredible candidates. All right.
It's time for change. And I decided to chime in on the responses here because I said, LOL, time for change? Change from the current administration she's part of, like any Kamala supporter you ask. Why do they support? They have no answer of substance. What a doofus. Colin Rugg, time for change? If that's your position, Kamala Harris is not the person to vote for. Wonderful clip. There you go. That pretty much sums it up. Yep. That definitely sums it up. What was the name of that character again? Simple Jack? Yeah. Apparently, he doesn't know that she's been in office for the last 3.5 years. Time for a change. That's the most ridiculous thing to say. It just goes to show you that these Hollywood elite have no idea what they're doing. They lend their face to a cause. They probably get a cut to do it. And then they make these stupid statements. Burt Macklin, but she's part of the current administration. I'm so confused. The Mad Hatter, time for change? It's been Democrats for the past 4 years. Voting for change would be voting for Trump by this logic. Are Democrats this naive and deceptive, or just deceptive? Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Ben.
that's the level of stuff we're dealing with. But this message here, I'm not with her. Let's just drill down to this real quick and see some of the latest messaging that's coming out. What is this? You never know what you're going to find out in the latest feed here, so got to be careful. Oh yeah, that was not a good video. I am not with her. Of course, people are hijacking the feed. Oh, what's this?
What is Harris's biggest accomplishment to date as vice president?
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable doing this anymore.
She was a very good vice president.
That's an interesting question. Getting to vice president.
I have to do more research on her, honestly. I'm just glad to see a woman of color in charge for once. That's it.
I haven't followed her political career that closely.
That's a good one. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody can answer the question. Nobody can answer the question. Oh, so here's a little side-by-side on that hashtag trending. 5 minutes ago, this was just posted. Angel Panda Earth. Trending. I'm with her. 8,000 posts. I'm not with her. 45,000 posts. That should give you a little snapshot of how these trends are lining up against each other. So, as we watch this political exodus unfold, remember, parties may change, but principles shouldn't. These defections aren't just about switching teams. They are a referendum on the state of our republic. The left is imploding, and the shockwaves are reshaping the political landscape. So stay tuned, Patriots, because this is one migration that's going to leave a mark on history and possibly on Kamala's resume. All right, Patriots, let's see what you guys have to say. Janie knows what's up. Janie says, I am not with her. Me says the evil will eat its own. If you're not following us on Rumble yet, please do. Thank you, Nightbot, for dropping that message. All credit to Brian, our tech wizard behind the curtain. Should call him Mr. Oz or something. The wizard. He is the wizard. Brian is the wizard. Okay. Dixie Houston is asking for closed captions. Well, I don't think we can have closed captions on the live feeds, but if you watch this after the fact, when it hits officially, once it's all rendered on YouTube, you should be able to see closed captions. What political career says Millennium Man? Just like witches at black masses. Kathleen, the kids are gone. I'm not coming back. People don't want to hear and see the truth. I'm not sure what that means, but that's our buddy Phoenix. Go check him out on Facebook if you're looking for some tattoo work. He does amazing work, actually. I'm not a tattoo guy. It's too permanent for me. Some people like that stuff. It's just not my thing. I could not ever get a tattoo. I know you can get them removed, but I just wouldn't do it. Same reason I don't have any piercings. I don't have anything like that. Okay. Do you guys have tattoos? Shout out your tattoo, chat. Let us know what kind of tattoo you got. But be clean about it. We don't need to hear about, tattoos in areas. People are weird. I don't know, man. Okay. Who else we got here? Kamala has more red flags than China. And Jeremy says he just turned a Democrat into a Republican, told him what Democrats are doing to us in Cali. Well, if they need, at least you open up their eyes. At least you told them what's up. Because the fact that, if they're not feeling it in California, what are they? Are they numb? Are they blind? Let's see. No F-bombs, please. Did I drop? I didn't drop an F-bomb, did I? Try not to. Let's see. Did anyone shout out their tattoo? Nobody? Hang on, let's get to the bottom of this. Let's find out. Thank you. Next News Network says Pothead Kenny. Oh wait, Pothead Kenny. Hang on a second. I think I actually bookmarked one of your messages today. Let me see if I have it. I thought I did. It was in one of our stories today. Let me see. I'm just going to go back to this. Maybe it's in our next story. I could swear I saw Pothead Kenny show up. A comment on something I did, something I posted, or somebody had posted. Where is it? I could have sworn I saw Pothead Kenny somewhere on X. Are you on X, Pothead Kenny? I don't know. All right. No, I did. I know I did. Where is it? Where is it? I swear, I remember bookmarking it. It's going to drive me crazy. Come on now. Come on, man. Is it my D-Day for Google story? Let's see. Heritage, Next News, Ryan Hartwig, Bryan Hughes. No. Kamala's interview. Maybe it was that one. Trump's Cringe, Redhead Libertarian, Paul Sperry, Charlie Kirk, MAGA War Room, Trump War Room, Clandestine, RNC Research, Donald Trump Jr., Dan Adams. Where? Anyway, I swear, I could swear I bookmarked. There was a comment and I wanted to see. Oh, whatever. Maybe it's in this one. I'll just check, double check one more time. I don't see it. Glenn Beck, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, Kyle Becker, Mike Davis. No, it's not there. Okay, anyway. All right. Okay, so Kamala's back on the bus. Any female have a Trump stamp? Oh my goodness. How? Okay, Action's got a spider on their elbow. Coffee Angel, a tramp stamp, kiss me? Oh my goodness. Where are we going with this? Kamala has more bats in the belfry than Bruce Wayne. That's funny. Wait a minute. Nikki has Trump on my rump? Come on. Did you really? Now I just said that. You made me say that. And now we're putting it on the screen. California. Hey, what's up from Northern Illinois? What's up, Ricky? Ricky in the house? Yeah, I'm in Northern Illinois too. How do you like it here in the police state of Illinois? Let's see. Joni JJ has 11 tattoos. 11 tattoos. You are braver than I. I am MAGA all the way. Let's see, who says skull and crossbones, or a 13-point mace ball and chain and samurai sword? Charles, are those your tattoos, Charles? Misty belongs to Misty belongs to Jesus has a hummingbird on her neck. Okay. Right on. Let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? X-Gang tattoo on my right arm, says Tron Master 7821 YouTuber. Oh, I did a tat in memory of my oldest brother. He passed from bone cancer. It's a wrench in the shape. Oh, yeah. I know too many people, family members, lost a child too soon. And, they get the name of the child on their arm or something in their memory. And it's like, ooh, that's hard. That's just hard. Oh man, that's a tough one. Let's see here. Grayley Art is tatted up with the Grateful Dead. Is that right? Ladybug on my ankle. Maverick says he's got 4 tats. Okay. Robalo 2660. Your body belongs to God. We just lease it. All right. Have we burned that one out? Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? One Oscar of a butterfly on my hip. I was 21 and drunk. Oh, one of those stories, huh? Christopher. Cross anchors the boatswain mate emblem. My rate with the years served in the Navy on my hand. Amen. Thank you for your service. Jennifer. Sorry, Jennifer, to hear about your brother. Suicide is no joke. No joke at all. And it's something that should be prevented at all costs. So we say a prayer for your family. Now this video is going to get flagged because I said the S word. Lovely. Because that's exactly what got this entire channel demonetized. I was talking about a certain event with a certain person related to another person, simply stating the facts of the case, and triggered a whole review. Oh, guess what? You're a bad boy. Okay. All right. Let's get back to the latest news here on the Trump indictment. I know this is what you guys are waiting for. Did we lose a lot of people when we started talking about tattoos? Everyone's like, man, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I don't want to talk about tattoos anymore. Okay. I'm going to figure out which story we're going to start with because we got... let's start with Trump. We got a Trump clip. We got Ted Cruz. There's a lot of clips in here. Some are a little longer than others. I don't want to play them all. Some are really long, so we got to really just distill the whole point. We got Trump. We got Nicole Shanahan. That was RFK's running mate, weighing in on the case. All right, let's just get started then. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your legal pads and your sense of outrage because the witch hunt against Donald Trump has just entered its umpteenth act. Jack Smith, DOJ's favorite attack dog, has unleashed another indictment, but here's the plot twist. This legal Hail Mary might just be the fumble that cost them the game. So buckle up because we're about to dissect this legal farce faster than CNN can say anonymous sources. Now, we're talking about the high-stakes games. Let me tell you about a play that's always a winner. I'm talking about investing in copper. Yes, you heard that right. While the legal system is trying to tarnish Trump's reputation, smart investors are polishing their portfolios with copper. World Copper Limited, trading as WCUFF, is setting up a potential gold mine, or should I say copper mine. We're talking 7 million tons of copper, folks. That's enough to make the Green New Deal blush. With copper essential for every electric vehicle and wind turbine, this is not just an investment, it's a bet on the future. So check out the stock ticker and investor presentation in the description below. But remember, always do your own research. Unlike the DOJ, we believe in due diligence. So let's jump into this now. We've got Donald Trump. Deranged special prosecutor Jack Smith, along with corrupt grand jury, has just issued a superseding indictment again. And the Trumpster is responding. Let's go.
It's always been very clear that the documents case, it's a hoax, is nothing but an election interference scam concocted by crooked Joe Biden and deranged Jack Smith and their hacks and thugs.
He is pissed. Now, I've seen him, lay some fire, but I can tell there is some deep, deep venom in him. He is mad. I don't even know how this guy does it. I don't know how this guy pulls through attack after attack after attack. Anyone else would have folded. This guy, he fights, and fights.
Totally illegal what they've done. And now deranged Jack has admitted in a filing in front of Judge Cannon, a highly respected judge, strong and smart, to what I've been saying happened since the illegal raid of my home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. An illegal raid it was, that he and his team committed blatant evidence tampering by mishandling the very boxes they used as a pretext to bring this fake case and to hurt the president so that crooked Joe Biden could get another 4 years, which would destroy our country. This deeply illegal action by the politicized persecutors mandate that this whole witch hunt be dropped immediately. They are crooked, they are corrupt, they are bad people. And by the way, they let Biden out of his boxes examination, documents, whatever you want to call it. They let him out with no problem. He can go. He had 10 times the boxes. He had a lot of classified information. They let him out, but they continue to go after Donald Trump.
Biden didn't even have the cover of presidential immunity. They should have gone after Biden 10 times harder than Trump. But, Biden is just too old to stand trial. He's just an old man.
But I think it's going to end very well. So we want to put a stop to the boxes, hoaxes. We're going to make America great again, and 2024 is going to be the biggest year in the history of our country, and November 5th is going to be the single biggest day in the history of America. It's called Election Day. We're going to turn our country around, make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you very much.
Remember the 5th of November. Yes, it's right around the corner, my friends. So we got lots of reaction here from this, not just President Trump. We got, listen to this. They're calling it a clear criminal conspiracy. Listen to this.
Anybody.
There's a very clear criminal conspiracy against rights here.
This is Mike Davis, the founder and president of the Article 3 Project on Real America's Voice on the War Room, as Steve Bannon sits in a prison cell.
There's a very clear criminal conspiracy against rights here. There's a very clear criminal conspiracy by these Biden and Kamala Justice Department officials, Biden and Kamala themselves, their staffs in the White House, and they're working with
So let me be clear about this, Mike. Not just Jack Smith should be subject to an indictment on this, but anybody that he communicated about this. So that could include Kamala Harris herself and anybody on her campaign staff, and certainly Joe Biden, although one could speculate that Joe is totally out of the loop now. But you're saying that you could use Jack Smith's exact legal logic to indict Jack Smith and possibly Kamala Harris.
If you can use Jack Smith's logic, certainly to open a criminal probe for a criminal conspiracy against rights, a very serious federal civil rights felony, 18 U.S.C. 241, and anyone who was involved in this conspiracy to violate President Trump's civil rights, your civil rights, Peter, Steve Bannon's civil rights, John Eastman's civil rights, Rudy Giuliani's civil rights, Jeffrey Clark's civil rights, the January 6th defendants who are being persecuted, their civil rights. You have a lot of people who could be part of this conspiracy. They don't believe.
Are judges, Mike, are judges?
So here we go. An elite America's record.
Oh, wow. So they are in a conspiracy. J.D. Vance weighing in on the tarmac in front of Trump Force 2.
More election interference. Smith. It's clearly an effort to try to do more election interference from Jack Smith. He should be ashamed of himself, and it's one of the reasons why we have to win, because he should not be anywhere near power.
It's unbelievable. They will not stop. When I heard this, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Another one? It's like just trying to keep track of every single thread of news is virtually impossible. Every story, every timeline, trying to keep it all in order. Which court case? Which indictment? Who's running for president now? Like, what? I mean, it's just this entire campaign season has been insane. Absolutely insane. And now they're throwing another indictment. Criminal conspiracy. Huh. Grace Chong posting that. Now, here is another point Mike Davis makes, that Jack Smith didn't act alone.
In which this Biden-Kamala special counsel Jack Smith is ignoring two recent monumental Supreme Court decisions. The Fisher case.
Jack Smith is ignoring monumental Supreme Court decisions. See, he can go ahead and file these things. He can file them, and then he can push them into the court system, and then you got to defend it again. And now you got to start back at zero, and you got to say, well, by the way, the Supreme Court said this, and you should throw this out again. That's what this is. It's just to make more headlines. It's just to bog Trump down, get him back in court to defend something that shouldn't even be in the court to begin with.
In which the Supreme Court held that the Biden-Kamala Justice Department illegally contorted, politicized, and weaponized a post-Enron obstruction of justice statute intended to go after corporate fraud that the Biden-Kamala regime used to go after Trump and his supporters on January 6th. That 18 U.S.C. 1512, those are two of the four charges in Jack Smith's original complaints and in his superseding complaint, his new complaint, his new indictment that he just filed. So that's two of the four that the Supreme Court said in Fisher you can't do, right? And so then there are two others that Jack have in here. The problem with that is that Jack Smith is ignoring the Supreme Court's recent presidential immunity decision where you cannot charge a president. You can't even get evidence that the president of the president's official acts. You can't charge the president for what he does in his official capacity as the president of the United States, and including the outer perimeter of that official capacity, according to a 40-year-old precedent in the civil as opposed to the criminal context, the Nixon case. Jack Smith ignored that. And the bigger problem here is that Jack Smith didn't just do this alone. He had to have gotten Biden-Kamala Attorney General Merrick Garland's sign-off to do this. So Merrick Garland definitely signed off on this. And there's no question, there's no doubts that President Biden at a minimum, and likely Vice President Kamala Harris, were made aware of this before this happened. This is a...
there's no question that they knew, if not ordered it to happen. Because they just want to keep bogging Trump down.
Continuation of the lawfare and election interference against President Trump, his top aides like you, Peter, who they sent to prison for 4 months, Steve Bannon, who's sitting in prison right now and you're filling in for him, Jeffrey Clark, John Eastman, Rudy Giuliani, Trump's attorneys, who they're making go through hell. They politically persecuted Trump supporters on January 6th. Yes, politically persecuted per the Supreme Court's Fisher decision. This Biden-Kamala.
Yes. Now this guy makes a lot of rounds. I see his videos pop up, but he's got a really interesting take that I want to share with you. Listen to this. Listen to there's a connection here that you need to pay attention to.
He filed, holy shit, Jack Smith just filed a superseding indictment against Donald Trump. And the charges are exactly the same as they were before. Yeah, you heard me. Jack Smith's original indictment was pretty much done. Like, he wasn't allowed to take any action until after the election. So he filed a superseding indictment with the exact same charges, but this time he filed it in a court where the judge is a close personal friend. I wish I was making that up. And here's the beauty of it. Even though Jack Smith's case has already been pretty much put away, he now filed a superseding indictment, and he filed it with a court where the judge has been a friend of his for about the last 30 years. And even though Jack Smith knows the moment the case moves beyond that court, it's going to be thrown the fuck out, his buddy, the judge, can keep it in his court for at least the next 6 months. Meaning that Jack Smith now has the power to pull Trump off the campaign trail and force him into court whenever the fuck he wants, all the way up to the election. And there is nothing that any other court can do about it. Jack Smith can now tie up Donald Trump sitting in court throughout the entire election cycle, throughout the entire campaign trail. But guys, how much shit has to happen before we recognize our government is the problem?
Yeah, how much more? Here is the indictment. Jack Smith filing a superseding indictment against Trump because they couldn't win the first go-round. They're trying again with a different one. This is corruption at its finest. J.D. Vance, of course, weighing in. Jack Smith should be ashamed of himself. Here is Glenn Beck. Listen to Glenn.
Entirely.
So are they doing this to smear him yet again so late in the campaign? Or is this a plan just in case he wins? They think this will keep him out of office?
I think, Glenn, that they're doing it for all of those reasons, right? They absolutely want to block him any way they can. So this is election interference. There's no, way that you should be issuing a new indictment like this, using a new grand jury this close to a major presidential election, especially one of these states. And then, look, and that it also shows me that this was being concealed. So what happens is that the court was told, because it was ready to go and start trying to set deadlines and the like to try to march back toward a trial. And Jack Smith made a filing in the last couple of weeks that said, no, hold on, slow down. I need more time. We're doing consultations inside the Justice Department. Well, I'm sure they were doing consultations inside the Justice Department, but that's not the real reason. It's now clear that the real reason is that he was actually in secret grand jury proceedings getting this superseding indictment.
Wow.
And the media, right? The media has been all over watching the D.C. courthouse. I mean, back in the real height of this a year ago, no one could walk into the courthouse, even if it was for an entirely different reason, and not have the media report XYZ, notable person went in, they must be going to the grand jury, or there was, speculation amundo. But for this proceeding, somehow, like, it surprised everyone. All of the mainstream media purported to say, well, Jack Smith's just consulting inside the Justice Department. I think that was essentially running a cover story for the fact that they were conveniently purporting not to watch the courthouse, because they would have seen the prosecutors regularly going to the grand jury to get this new indictment, and yet there was entire radio silence on that until the surprise of yesterday.
Surprise of yesterday. What do you think about that? So they are not stopping. Ted Cruz weighing in as well. Here's an interesting connection brought up on Timcast IRL. Jack Smith's wife, you ready for this? Documentary filmmaker who created Michelle Obama's Netflix show. A Netflix show titled Becoming. Listen to this. Another massive conflict of interest.
I don't know the issue. I just think it's outrageous that CNN would never mention the fact, for example, that his wife actually works as a documentary filmmaker who made the whole documentary about Becoming Michelle on Netflix. She's like basically a propagandist for the Obama family and the Democratic Party. And her husband is the one overseeing this operation to now usurp our Supreme Court to weaponize the judicial system against a former sitting president. I don't know.
Who made the Obama documentary? Could you imagine that? Jack Smith's wife making a documentary about Michelle Obama. Imagine what conversations they're having in bed at night. Just casually talking about how they're trying to destroy this country and take down Donald Trump. Oh, I'm working on this Michelle Obama documentary. It's so great. Yeah, I got this secret indictment I'm about to launch against Trump, and nobody really knows about it. And we're going to go after him, even though the Supreme Court said we can't.
Jack Smith's wife.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Crazy. What?
Yeah, you can look up her name. It's something like Kate. I can send a link also over.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, I was just listening to
Katie
that.
Chavigny?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No way. Is that for real?
She's like a hardcore Democratic Party
operative.
Producer.
Like. Becoming.
Yeah, media producer. Becoming.
It's called Becoming.
Yeah, for some reason that was what Michelle decided to call her memoir.
Wow. What are you trying to say there?
Nothing.
Becoming. Transitioning. Here is Ted Cruz weighing in on this. So, but I don't want to just glance over that, because that's a huge development. You even saw Tim Pool. He's like, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute. You're kidding me, right? You caught Tim Pool off guard. Think about it. Think about the collusion. Think about all the connections. Jack Smith talking to his wife, sharing some inside information, ends up on the set interviewing Michelle, sharing some gossip with Michelle. Michelle goes back to Obama. Oh, it's a very short jump for those pieces of information, inside information from those courtroom hearings, to get right to Obama, or to get a message back through. Think about it. Let's see what Ted Cruz has to say about this.
So a year ago, no president of the United States has ever been indicted. No major party candidate for the president had ever been indicted.
I cannot believe we're doing this again. I can't believe we're doing this again, to be honest with you. It's like we're living in freaking Groundhog Day. And we are always running into Ned Niedermeyer. Nederlander? Ned! Oh, no, Ned Ryerson. Ned Ryerson. Needle-nosed Ned. right? We just keep running into freaking needle-nosed Ned every single day. We keep stepping in that damn puddle every single day. But eventually, we get out of it. And we get the girl. Right? That's what it's all about. And we're going to get the girl. We're going to get out of this. We're going to wake up out of Groundhog Day.
In the past year, Donald Trump has been indicted not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 separate times by rabid Democrat partisans who are very concerned that the voters are going to elect him. Every one of these indictments, they're not about the criminal law. They're not about the rule of law. They're not about actual conduct of Donald Trump. They are about trying to stop the voters from voting for him in November. We are 69 days away from Election Day, and Democrats are terrified he's going to win. And so I got to say, after 4 different indictments, to wake up and see yesterday a 5th indictment, it almost feels like that classic Saturday Night Live skit with Christopher Walken where he's a record producer and his solution to everything is more cowbell, more cowbell. The Democrats' answer to everything is more indictments, more indictments. They just want to indict Trump. So Jack Smith is like, to use another analogy, I don't know, I feel a little bit like Dennis Miller. Stop me before I sub-reference again. Jack Smith is like Javert from Les Mis. He is going after Jean Valjean. And Jean Valjean for him is Donald Trump, and he must get him. And so he filed a brand new indictment, 36 pages, and he indicted Trump again. Now, it is, you asked, is this permissible after the Supreme Court decision? And the answer is yes, it is. So the Supreme Court did not conclude that Jack Smith had no authority in charges. The Supreme Court did not rule on whether Jack Smith was properly appointed. That was a basis for a ruling from the judge down in Florida concerning the documents case, but that was not in front of the Supreme Court. What the Supreme Court ruled is that presidents of the United States enjoy significant immunity from prosecution. And the line the Supreme Court laid out is that the immunity presidents enjoy is an immunity for actions carried out that are official actions, that are exercising their power as president. And significant parts of the first indictment were in the direct exercise of Trump's authority as president. The Supreme Court said you can't indict a president for that. Look, presidents do all sorts of things that, frankly, you and I can't do. Presidents send the military into combat and kill people. If you and I sent someone out to kill someone, we would, in all likelihood, be charged with potentially murder or attempted murder. Presidents have authority under the Constitution that ordinary citizens do not. What Jack Smith did here is he refiled the indictment, and you can do that. So one question, and you and I were talking beforehand, and a question was, well, does this violate double jeopardy? And it does not. So double jeopardy is the protection in the Constitution against trying someone multiple times for the same crime. And the general rule is that jeopardy attaches when a jury is impaneled. In other words, when the trial, you get a jury together, you bring the jury, you start the trial, that's the point at which, okay, if the guy gets off, if the guy is acquitted, you can't prosecute him again because jeopardy is attached. At this point, jeopardy has not attached legally because an indictment has come down, but a jury has not been impaneled. So the prosecutor can indict Trump as many times as he wants to. That is part of being a prosecutor. Now, indicting is simply bringing a charge against him. And so what Jack Smith tried to do here was narrow the indictment. He has many of the same claims he had before, but he tried to carve out, to excise the bases that were most connected to Trump's official exercise of presidential authority. Now, I think this is going to fail. I think this is not going to go anywhere. But, as I said, Jack Smith is like Javert. He is on a crusade, and so he did it yet again.
Yes, he did. He did it yet again. He did it yet again. I think we've really covered a lot of ground here on this story. We got Trump. We got the connection there. We got the reaction. Let me just kind of close with this, because here's Nicole Shanahan. This is RFK Jr.'s former running mate. And she said this in reaction to this CNN clip. And I believe this is the CNN clip, the announcement of the indictment itself on CNN. But she says, I'll admit, I used to kind of roll my eyes when people claimed that President Trump was being persecuted. I was looking at it through the distorted filter of the media while I just completed my first cross-examination in our second New York ballot access case, where the DNC-aligned PAC attorneys questioned me like a criminal. Okay, I get it now. Our justice system is clearly being co-opted and abused by nefarious people with malevolent political agendas. RFK's former running mate finally seeing the light when it comes to lawfare. She used to roll her eyes. Not anymore. So, my friends, the Trump indictment happening again. Groundhog Day happening again. Needle-nosed Ned stepping in that puddle every single day. But in the end, we get the girl. And that is the silver lining here. So as this legal circus continues, remember one thing. Every indictment is a badge of honor in the fight against the deep state. Trump is not just facing charges. He is facing down a corrupt system that is desperate to silence him. But here's the kicker. With every legal punch that they throw, Trump's support grows stronger. This is not just a courtroom drama. It is a battle for the soul of America. And spoiler alert, the deep state is losing. Oh, man. It's like Groundhog Day, folks. It really is. It's like living in Groundhog's Day. All right, I want to get everyone's take on this. I want to get everyone's take. Mancow Mueller posting. All these stores are closing. Man. Excuse me. All right, let's see what you guys are saying on about this one here. They've lost control, man. Thank you, Debbie. It's an illegitimate regime under Biden. We won 2020, says Kathy. Jeremy says the Depp state is losing and they're panicking. They are. Joyce, please pray for Mr. Trump. He's under a lot of pressure. He needs all of our prayers. Thank you. God bless everyone. Oh, there's no question we need to pray for him every day. Every day. I don't pray for him enough. But we need to pray for him every day. Every day. Oh, boy. Let's see. Let's continue. So many comments. It's hard to get through them all. Trump is Spider-Man and Smith is the Green Goblin. Pothead Kenny chiming in with that gem. Let's see. Charles. I was one of those kids a long time ago that would put ketchup on one and pull it out in the classroom. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't want to know. I do not want to know. Do not want to know. All right, let's check the latest headlines here. See what's the latest trending news. Oh, look at Brian Krasenstein posting that clip of Ben Stiller we played for you earlier. That guy's just another paid troll. Mancow posting, all these stores are closing. Old Country Buffet closing all remaining locations. IHOP closing 100 locations. Buffalo Wild Wings, Applebee's, Red Lobster, Denny's, Marie Callender's, Pizza Hut, Outback, Sbarro, Marty or Mod Pizza, Ruby Tuesday, Joe's Crab Shack, PDQ, Bonefish Grill, Carino's, Quiznos, Romano's Macaroni Grill, TGI Fridays. Look at all these places that are closing. Boston Market. Who remembers Old Country Buffet, man? That place. I used to love that place. Boston Market. My brother used to work there when we were all living, as a big, happy family. He would bring home all the leftovers from, I think back then they actually called it Boston chicken. But he would bring back all the leftovers. I mean, we had chicken pot pie. Oh man, the chicken pot pies they make over there are so good. And then he'd bring macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes and chicken and pasta, anything. I mean, everything. He'd just bring home all the leftovers. It was amazing. Shout out to my bro Dom. Okay. Holy cow. How funny is that? Ed Snowden saying exactly what I said in that report about Kamala. Kamala needs training wheels walls for basic interview. That's exactly how I envisioned it. In fact, that's the thumbnail picture I was envisioning for the interview. It was Tim Walz pushing her on a bicycle with training wheels, like into the CNN studio. That was like the vision for the thumbnail. I don't know if I'm able to create it or not, but you can do a lot of crazy things with AI these days. Here is Kamala wins. This is the new account that's just, she's getting Kamala Harris on the ground getting some barbecue in Savannah, Georgia. Unlike Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, she's a normal American who can interact with her peers. Really? Are you freaking kidding me? Is this a troll? This has got to be a troll post because there's no way. How many times has Trump gone into restaurants and stores? Oh, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and reply. Clearly a troll post because I'll tag Mr. Trump in this one. Real Donald Trump has no fear of mingling with the people. Clearly, you're lying because that's all you're good at. And send. Ugh. Oh, these people make me so sick. Donald Trump getting back in the action on X, posting this 3 hours ago. Kamala intentionally unsecured the border. Quote tweeting Kamala Harris herself. Getting 2.9 million views on this post. That was 3 hours ago. Okay, let's just see. He posted this 2.9, what did I say? 3 hours ago. 2.9 million views. Kamala Harris 7 hours ago. Let's see how many hits does she got. Oh, 3.8 million. So, well, let's think about this. Over 7 hours, she got 3.8 million views. Trump getting 2.9 in only 3 hours. So I think Trump's got her beat in the views to time ratio. Chuck Cholesterol is saying Dems in Congress are claiming they will not certify Trump if elected. Raskin mentioned Civil War conditions. We covered that a couple weeks ago. Not sure what this is. This is what replaced the Robert E. Lee statue in New Orleans. A demon. What is that? There's literally like, seriously? Oh my. These people are just, wow. These people are out of their minds. Here's an image of Joe Biden at Arlington Cemetery. Oh, yeah, there is no image. Let's see. Laura Loomer, 23 minutes ago. Please report this suspicious GoFundMe page by Mike Nellis, founder of Authentic Campaigns and the business partner of Lauren Marchand, who was subpoenaed today. Report this GoFundMe since Nellis is pretending Nellis is pretending like authentic campaigns needs money when the company has generated millions of dollars working for pro-indictment Democrats. Mike Nellis and his company have raised millions of dollars off the persecution of Donald Trump, and his associates are begging people to donate in a GoFundMe page. Please report it to protect people from being duped into a donation to suspicious Democrat political operatives who have plenty of money. Okay, so I will go ahead and retweet that. You can find that on the X feed, and you can report that GoFundMe as needed. Oh, and here's that stop. Sandfly Barbecue in Savannah during their South Georgia bus tour. Oh, hey.
My mom. Do you need to learn? Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a big fan. I appreciate it. Congratulations on all the success. All that you've been doing. How you doing? I'm good.
How you doing? How you doing?
What time did you get here? 8:30. That was going to take a break.
What time do you get here? What time do you get off? Come on. Scam, scam, scam. Apparently Donald Trump posting this. Yeah, retruthing this picture. I'll let you read what the bottom says there. You see that? What does it say? Say it to yourself. Okay? Maybe you have kids around. Yeah. Haha. Okay, what else? Michael Schellenberger, in his new letter, Zuckerberg goes beyond what he told Rogan. He says, okay, remember that. Yeah, I brought that up. When the Zuckerberg letter hit, it was like we knew what he said in the Rogan show. But apparently, this is what Elon Musk tweeted 6 minutes ago. Bingo. I'll just reply guy on Elon Musk. In his new letter, Zuckerberg goes beyond what he told Rogan, says FBI specifically warned of disinfo regarding Hunter Biden and his client Burisma, the Ukrainian natural gas company. It's hard proof that the FBI illegally interfered in the election. Someone should go to prison for it. Wow.
First, the Wiretap Act. Zuckerberg's letter went further than what he told Joe Rogan in 2022 because he specifically mentioned Burisma, the Ukrainian natural gas company that Hunter Biden worked for. Zuckerberg wrote, "The FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. Nobody at the FBI has gone to prison or even been properly investigated for their crimes. And yet the evidence shows that the CIA and FBI broke the Wiretap Act and the Hatch Act of 1939, which prohibits the federal employees from using their official authority or influence to interfere with or affect the outcome of an election. First, the FBI violated the Wiretap Act when it misused information it had obtained from spying on Rudy Giuliani. The FBI knew that the New York Post story about the Hunter Biden laptop would be coming out because it was listening to Giuliani's telephone calls. The Wiretap Act, formerly known as Title III of the Omnibus Crime and Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968, requires that information obtained through a wiretap can only be used for purposes directly related to the investigation for which the wiretap was authorized. Misusing or improperly disclosing this information can result in criminal penalties for the individuals involved, and the evidence obtained can be excluded from court proceedings. The FBI both misused and improperly disclosed the information. Second, the FBI spread disinformation, information it knew to be false, in order to interfere in the election. The FBI warned Facebook, Twitter, and others that forthcoming information about Burisma and Biden was Russian disinformation. The FBI knew that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't Russian disinformation because it already had the laptop in its possession for 10 months and was spying on Giuliani. The FBI knew that the laptop was what it appeared to be, something obtained by a computer repair store owner after Hunter Biden brought it in and never came back for it.
Okay, so speaking of Hunter's laptop, I don't know if I have my Facebook account here. Let's see if I can get this over. Well, if you go to my Facebook account, you'll see General Mike Flynn is going to be speaking at the Christian Orthodox Coalition at Trump Hotel Chicago. Now, I will also be speaking at that event. I want to make sure you guys are aware of this. Where is that post? Oh, and I recently spoke at the Three-Headed Eagle Alliance. I just posted that video to my X account. Definitely too hot for certain social media platforms. This is something you guys need to check out. There it is. And you can watch the full interview also of the interview with Dan Cochran. That's all been posted there. Let's see, where is that post that I made? Oh, there, check this out. Here's me and Angie. This is way back in the day. Little throwback. Street activists. Allergies are kicking my butt. Okay, here it is. Okay, save the date. September 5th, Trump Tower in Chicago. Don't miss this electrifying event. Join us for an unforgettable night featuring great speakers like George Papadopoulos, myself, as we launch the Christian Orthodox Coalition. Be the first to witness the world premiere of Hunter's Laptop, Requiem for Ukraine, a powerful film produced by Igor Lopatnik with Sean Stone as executive producer and Simona Maggiante as the lead interviewer. Now she's married to George. The film features speakers like Rudy Giuliani, Steve Bannon, and more. Grab your tickets and be part of this must-see event. And there you see yours truly with George Papadopoulos. And now we are learning that General Michael Flynn will be there. Let me see if George Papa made the announcement. Here we go. Perfect. Here it is. There is Lieutenant General Mike Flynn also speaking at the event. So it's going to be great. I'll be there. George Papadopoulos will be there, and we'll be hanging out with Mike Flynn. I hope you can come out, and we'll hang out with you too. And just go to my X account. I will, let me retweet this, and then I will retweet this one as well, so we can get it back up at the top of the feed, so you guys can find the links if you want to go ahead and hang out with me. And George and Simona and Angie will all be there. Maybe we'll have a good old time. There's me and Ed checking out the towers. So, anyway, lots of ground we covered tonight, folks. So as the sun sets on another edition of Raw Feed, it is time to head back to the homestead. But before we ride off into the sunset, let's take one last look at the frontier that we have explored tonight. We've seen Google cornered like a coyote in a Texas Ranger's trap. We've watched Kamala Harris try to talk her way out of verbal quicksand. We've witnessed Democrats jumping off their party wagon faster than you can say election year. And we've seen Trump turn indictments into notches on his political gun belt. But here's the thing, patriots, this ain't just some Wild West show. This is the real deal, the fight for the very soul of our nation. And in this showdown, you're not just spectators, you're the cavalry. The Washington varmints think they can pull the wool over your eyes. They think they can silence us with their fancy algorithms, their teleprompter talks, and their kangaroo course, but they have forgotten one crucial fact. In America, the power doesn't come from the barrel of a gun or the gavel of a judge. It comes from we, the people. So what are you going to do about it? You let them run roughshod over your rights? Or are you going to stand your ground and fight back? Remember, the Raw Feed doesn't end when I stop talking. It continues with you. Share what you've learned. Wake up your neighbors. Rustle up some support for the truth. Because make no mistake, we are in for the fight of our lives. Not just for an election, not just for a policy, but for the very idea of America. And America, or freedom, isn't just a word. It is a way of life. So this is Gary Franchi reminding you that in the Wild West of modern politics, the truth is your best six-shooter. So keep it loaded. Keep it ready. and never be afraid to draw. Good night, America. God bless America. And remember, out here on the frontier of freedom, every day is Independence Day.